This video tutorial will show you what the Absence Manager is and how it works from the point of view of the Head of Studies. The Absence Manager is a tool of GHC web app that allows you to indicate the absences of teachers and the substitutions that have been covered. Let's use an example to explain the different concepts that need to be clarified in order to understand the Absence Manager. A class unit is the connection between teachers, subjects, groups, and classrooms. Here, James teaches Spanish to 3rd grade A in classroom 4. An absence implies that the teacher will not be able to teach the class unit. Thus, James will be the absent teacher in this absence. On the other hand, the role of a supply teacher is to cover an absence. In this example, teacher Alice is the supply teacher and will teach the class unit that James is unable to teach. Using the Absence Manager with the Head of Studies profile, you will have the following functionalities: accepting or rejecting requests for absences, adding absences to the teachers, indicating the supply teacher who will cover the absence, and creating different reports in order to control absences and substitutions in an academic year. You can use the Absence Manager tool from two different applications. From the GHC web app, accessible from any browser at app.peñalara.com, as well as from the Peñalara website. And from the GHC mobile app, both for Android and iOS. The application can be downloaded easily from Google Play and App Store. Remember that a timetable must have been previously published in order to use the Absence Manager. GHC web app allows you to manage requests for absences sent by teachers by accessing the Notifications panel. In order to simplify your search, you can filter the messages by type. By selecting the type Absence, you will see only this type of request. In this same table, we can find the status of the request: created, rejected, or pending. When you receive a request, its initial status is pending. Within the request, in addition to viewing all its information, the application allows us to accept, consult, or reject the absence. Accepted or rejected requests will still appear in the notification panel. If the absence has been created, it can also be accessed from the inbox request itself. When you log in to the GHC web app, you will see the access to the Absence Manager both in the top menu and in the main screen. Within this tool, the Head of Studies will be able to manage absences and substitutions. We will have a calendar in which we can view for each day all the absences that have taken place in the educational institution. Clicking on any of the absences will display a detailed report of the absence, the absent teacher, the supply teacher if he or she has been defined, when the absence took place, and some possible remarks. You can also add an absence directly from here, by filling in a form that requires the teacher who will be absent, the day or days of the absence, the duration, and some remarks about the absence. First, you must indicate in the form who is the teacher you wish to create the absence for. If the absence takes place on a single day, the date shall be indicated in the corresponding selector. In order to enter absences lasting more than 1 day, it will be enough to choose the option Select Several Days and enter the starting and ending dates of the absence. Regarding the starting time, this can be specified in two different ways, either by selecting the hour when the absence starts or by selecting the first class unit that will be missed. The end of the absence can be specified in a similar way, by specifying the hour when the absence ends or the last class unit that the teacher will not be able to attend. Remarks are optional. You can indicate the reason for the absence or leave a comment for the supply teacher, for example, leave homework for the students. The absence is created automatically. and an entry will appear for each of the class units from which the selected teacher will be absent. In order to cover for an absence with a supplied teacher, within the details of the absence, simply select a teacher from the table below, either a teacher on call, an available teacher, or a support teacher at the time of the absence. Teachers on call are those who are covering on-call hours during the absence. In the table, we can see information about the on-call hour. Useful information in order to decide the substitution is provided in the statistics column. This information can be number of substitutions. This number is always displayed and indicates the number of substitutions the teacher has already made. This number can be used to balance the number of substitutions made by each teacher. Same group. It appears if the teacher teaches the group on which the class unit has been created. Partial coverage. This is displayed if the on-call hour belongs to another time frame and does not cover the whole period of the absence, but only part of it. It's always possible to display specifically the hours that overlap with the absence. By clicking on the green pin button, you can select the supplied teacher who will cover this absence. The list of available teachers will show teachers who, although they are not on call, do not have any class unit assigned during the time of the absence. And in the list of support teachers will appear the teachers who are accompanying the main teacher in other class unit, in which it was indicated that more than one teacher was needed. You can select another supplied teacher at any time, and check him or her, or even delete the absence if you do not want it to be taken into account. Finally, we should mention that there are 3 different reports that can be obtained from the Absence Manager. Printing the daily report. This allows you to create a report with the data of the absences that have taken place on the selected day. There are several options that can be configured on the report, such as selecting the columns to be shown, adding additional fields, or selecting the sections to be displayed in the report. School Absences Report. It allows to show, between 2 specified dates, the absences that have taken place. By default, it will be displayed for the current academic year. There is an entry in the table for each teacher who has caused an absence. The total number of absences of the teacher, his or her department, and the number of absences detailed by dates are shown. If you want, you can add the hours of each of these absences. The total number of absences and the total number of teachers who have caused an absence will be displayed at the bottom of the report. This report can be viewed, printed, or saved as a PDF file. School Substitutions Report. This works in a similar way to the School Absences Report, but indicating the substitutions that have been made. It includes the same options and the same information to be displayed and printed. This tool is not only available from the GHC web app. The mobile application can also be used to manage teacher absence requests and to create new absences. In the notification panel, you will receive the requests sent by the teachers. In the same way as in the GHC web app, these requests can be accepted, displayed, or rejected in order to correctly manage the school's absences. All these requests will remain visible in the notification panel despite they have been accepted or rejected. In order to create absences, you must access the Absence Manager section. There, select the option Create Absence and fill in the form that will appear. The fields are the same as in the GHC web app: teacher, day or days of the absence, starting and ending time of the absence, and remarks. Once created, it will appear directly in the list of absences of the educational institution. Thank you for your attention.